Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's PDF session. We're going to wait just a moment to make sure everyone can get in here. Looks like we got 20 people. That's fantastic. How's everyone doing today? In the chat or unmute yourself. Or let's do the chat. Save our interpreters. Good. Trying to stay cool. It's 90 something down here in Southern California today. Awesome. Good. Well, it's nice to virtually see all of you. Struggling with a form? Oh, it's my favorite. Oh yeah, duh, Fresno. I'm on my way to Modesto this weekend. It's not exactly Fresno, but 96. Oh my goodness. All right, excellent. Well, it's nice to virtually see all of you. We're going to go ahead and sort of jump right in. So a couple of housekeeping rules from last time. I encourage participation. So if you have a question, please interrupt me, either unmuting or in the chat, and I will happily address that question. Today, we're going to be learning a couple new tools, and we're also going to do a little bit of review on the tools that we learned last time. So let's begin. The first thing I wanted to look at with all of you is just a recap of viewing the tags panel. So I'm going to open a sample document. And all I'm going to do is make sure I can get to the tags panel. And we'll do this again later, but I'm going to expand my little left-hand menu here. And there is a small column of options I can choose. We want to make sure that this icon that looks like a present tag is on the left-hand side of the page. Now we can do that by right-clicking in this very small space and ensuring that tags is selected. Now mine's already there, so there's no reason to do it. Another option you can do is to go to View, Show Hide, Navigational Panes, Tags. And the tags are really the basis for everything that we do with accessibility. All right, and you can know it's working. You know that the tags are active when we select the tags button. You're either going to see no tags available, or you will see the tags tree in this window. This document needs to be needs some things to happen to it. Now, the other item I wanted to review with all of you is the action wizard. So we're going to run the action wizard on this document. To run the action wizard, I'm going to select the action wizard icon from my tools panel on the right-hand side of Adobe Acrobat. From there, we have a make accessible option. This is going to run our document through several automated elements that we will look at when applying accessibility. Now, all of the automated things that are going to happen can be done manually. We did talk about this last time and we did practice, but I want to just give you a refresher. So when I hit start, it's going to walk us through a series of steps. Now, the first step is to ensure you have a title. This is a Section 508 requirement. You want to have a title. I'm going to put volcano. Keep it brief for demo. When I select OK, it's going to automatically take me to the next step. And that next step is what we call OCR. It's going to try to make words out of anything that it sees. That's essentially what OCR is. You're going to leave your default settings and simply select OK. And it is now running through each page to identify all of the text. The third step of this process, which happens on its own, it says, hey, Shawn, are there any forms in this document? I'm going to say, no, there's not. The fourth step is to identify the document language. In this example, it is English. I'm going to select OK. The fifth step is to Acrobat is going to identify all of the images in the document that need alternate text. When I select OK, it's going to begin walking us through adding that alt text. Now, the first image here, we have pillow lava. And of course, if I was the instructor of this course, I would probably give it a better detailed alt text, but for sake of demonstration, we're keeping it very brief. Instead of, see, I almost did it. I almost pressed save and close. It's actually image 1 of 2. I need to press the next button here to go to the next image. They like to play games with us, so we're going to win, though. This image is going to be lava. We select save and close. We're 2 of 2, so we're good to go. If I were to select decorative image, this creates the infamous whack-a-mole game. It's going to give us another error. So I like to give all of my images alt text. When complete, select save and close. I'm going to uncheck, excuse me, the final step of this process is the accessibility checker. Now, this can be done manually on its own and is one of the 3 paths we originally talked about in our first presentation. It could be its own path, but it also happens to be the final step of the action wizard. So I'm going to uncheck this create accessibility report because it will just, for someone like me where I work on, I don't know, 20 documents a day, it just clutters my computer with docs. So I don't want this accessibility report for now. And then I'm going to select start checking. From here, this takes us to the accessibility checker results. And we're not going to quite spend any time in here right now. The more important thing that I wanted to show is the tags panel. Now, this takes us sort of into the next part of the review. Now, here's what we've done so far. We have ran a document with no tags through the Make Accessible Action Wizard. That's what we've done so far. And what I want to do is briefly look at the tags. Now, we kind of did this last time, right? We have some issues here, right? We have our H3. It starts with an H3. Headings should start with an H1 and never skip. So where is our H2 and our H1? Additionally, our figure seems to have grabbed some of our text up above and it put that content into a caption. So there's some minor issues here. Let's see if we can find some other trouble. We have a table. Now, this table, in theory, should have 4 rows. As it stands now, it only has 1 row in terms of what's communicated to assistive technology. Now, in that row, it has 2 cells. All the content for the left-hand column is in a single cell, and all of the content for the right-hand column is in a single cell. This is not accessible. This is not going to fly. It's going to fail. Section 508, we need to fix it. But the point of this is to simply show you what the process can do. And a big part of that is to take a step back and understand why we would even do this. One of the main reasons for using the Action Wizard is to provide a foundation to begin remediation. Okay, so this is great for a document that comes in untagged, which is what this is. So this makes sense so far with the tags. What I want to show you now is last time we created this same document from Microsoft Word. We had spent that I took about 10 minutes to run through a Word document and then created a PDF. What I wanted to show you was the actual difference with the tags panel. So this is the document from Word. And we can see here we have an H1, we have an H2, our heading 3, we have our figure element. Let's take a look at our table. It has all 4 rows entered in properly. It looks like the headers were also entered properly, which is fantastic. We have a couple of blank spaces here. There's a couple different ways we can fix these blank spaces that I'll hope that we can address today. But all I'm doing is making sure all of the content is here. We have a, ooh, look at this table row. So this is great. We have a single row that expands over 2 pages. Oftentimes, this will come in as 2 separate rows and we have to merge them in the tags panel. But we're here and this looks pretty good. So what I'm showing you right now is the difference between a document created from Word and a document ran through the Action Wizard, both of which give you varying results. And this list came through really good with the Word document. Let's take a look at that list from the Action Wizard. So this is the one from the Action Wizard. We're going to try to get down to that list element. Hey, looky there, it did pretty good. Not too bad. Actually, it's perfect. Better than I thought. But it didn't get the tables, which is okay. It actually got this table decently. So earlier I was saying that the table row is split here. This is the case. So we have one row at the top of the page, and that same row is in a new table row. So we would need to take that content and sort of merge it. We can do that by cutting these cells and moving them. I'm just showing you how I would do it to fix it. And then I would delete that table row. And now we have a row with our pink boxes. We can see that it's now under a single table row. Okay, quick summary of what we've recapped. We have looked at a document through the Action Wizard, a document through Microsoft Word to PDF, and sort of compared and contrasted the tags panel. Before I move on, are there any questions? There's no way I'm this good. It's always questions. All right, I'm going to keep going. Let me make sure I'm on the right track here. So what we're going to learn about next is a tool called the reading order tool. Now, I have some qualms about the reading order tool. For one, I think the name is ridiculous, as it has nothing to do with reading order. Most assistive technology today interprets the reading order from the tags panel. So whatever order your tags are in, that is the order in which screen readers and other assistive technology will engage with that content. So it makes no sense to me why this tool is called the reading order tool. With that said, it is still useful. It's really good for identifying artifacts and missing content. Essentially what you do is you launch the reading order tool and you drag a visible box around the content that you want to update. And then you choose the tag type from the desired choices on the screen. This is a screenshot of how to actually do that. So step 1, you select the accessibility button. Step 2, you select reading order. And then that brings up a whole list of options as indicated by number 3 in my screenshot. Now, here's another qualm that I have. Does anyone notice anything missing from the gray boxes in the center of the screen. So we have text paragraph, figure, form field, figure caption, heading 1 through 6. Does anyone notice anything missing out of there in the chat? Come on, no one wants 100 bonus points. Ruth Ann, 100 bonus points. Congratulations. Yes, list elements are missing. I don't know why they do it to me. Not to me, but you know what else is missing? Links. Links and list elements. And those are used very frequently. They also don't have data cells for tables or header cells. So it can get pretty confusing in here. Now, the area on the bottom of the screenshot, number 3, the very bottom, we have some checkboxes. Those checkboxes can be altered, and I recommend playing with different combinations as they change the view of the content of the PDF. Now, we're going to practice some of this, but just know you can change the way that it looks when you're working with the document. Now, once you launch the reading order tool, let's say, for example, we wanted to mark an image as an artifact. You could draw a box around the image and select artifact. And what that does is it tells the screen reader to ignore that content. It does not run into it. It simply skips over it as if it wasn't there. This is a good trick to use for occasionally you'll get phantom characters on the page and it says, hey, you need to tag this as something. We see it here. And you're like, computer, it's not there. The reading order tool can make it to where you could artifact that content and move on. If any of you have done this at all, I think you'll know what I mean. Sometimes there's phantom content or spaces even. Here's an example of spaces that were in the Word document. These are hard returns using the enter key. When it was converted to PDF, they were entered as objects in the document. Now, if you were to simply delete those objects with the keyboard, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a different error in Acrobat saying, hey, this content isn't tagged. This blank space between these sentences isn't tagged. In that case, you need to go back to your document, open the reading order tool, drag a box around the blank space, and mark background artifact. The fact that that has to be done, I couldn't begin to explain how infuriating it is, but that is the nature of working with PDFs sometimes. Imagine your happy space. That's why we say it. And so, yeah, that's the reading order tool. Now, this is kind of, my screenshots are geared towards marking content as artifacts, but let's say in the screenshot, all of the text wasn't tagged, right? Let's say we had the opposite effect and we needed the words in the tags panel, but they're not there. You could do the same thing. You could draw a visible box around the words and then mark one of the indicators from the panel there. So I would mark one of the sentences with a box and then select text paragraph, for example, and it would add it to the tags panel. So we're going to sort of take a look at how to do that. Do I have any questions before I show you what I'm talking about? Or are we okay? I think we're okay. All right. So let's go back to our document that we ran the action wizard. This is a, we started with the action wizard and now we are going to fix some of this stuff. Okay. And pay attention because I'm going to be having you guys do this in a sample document after my demo. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the reading order tool and we're going to chop this up a little bit. We're going to fix it. So I'm going to collapse my windows just a little bit so I have as much real estate as possible. If anyone is having a hard time seeing this, let me know, and I can try to zoom in a smidge on my document here. Unfortunately, I can't enlarge my the Acrobat options themselves. All right, let's launch the reading order tool. We're going to go to the accessibility button and select reading order. I'm going to minimize this little this window with this arrow. It's really tiny to see, but I need as much real estate as possible when using the reading order tool. And in fact, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. All right. So we took a look at some of the tag types in this section. Down here, I was trying to explain you could change these. So as it stands now, we have show page content groups, and I like structured types. Here's some more qualms I have. Page content order. This has nothing to do with reading order, okay? So if you see these numbers out of place, it's just make-believe. It's Acrobat's numbering system for the objects on the page, okay? So I like to do structure types so I can see what I'm working with here. Now, there's known errors. This one here, pillow lava, it's indicated by the letter P. It should be body text, right? But in the tags panel, it's clearly marked as an H3. So who's right here? And I'll tell you this, it's a known bug. When you switch some of this content around, when you switch some of your views around using these checkboxes and radio buttons, it sometimes messes up what we actually see. So that's a soapbox discussion. Anyways, let's start chunking up some of this content. So as it sits now, we have a caption tag within our figure. That's not really useful. This geology 2.3 volcanoes, this should be a heading 1, not a caption. So by selecting with my left click, I am dragging a visual box around the words, and you kind of have to go pretty far down. So when you do this, I guarantee it's going to happen to someone where you're trying to grab the words. So right now I'm doing this on purpose, where I'm dragging my box and letting go, but it's not finding it. I'm not seeing my pink box, right? That's because I'm not going low enough. Sometimes you have to go all the way midway into the next line to properly grab the words, okay? I've had so many participants get stuck on that. If it happens to you, let me know and I'll help. Anyways, we're going to mark this a heading 1. And as you can see, it took it out of the figure tag, and now we have a nice looking H1. Moving on, types of lava and magma. This is going to be a heading level 2. Pillow lava is already a heading level 3. It's showing a P tag. Let's just for fun mark it as H3. So it doesn't change it here, but at least it's consistent now, which is more important. But what do we see here now? Our tags are out of order. It starts with an H2. That's not good. And then goes to an H3. These tags need to be moved. I'm going to select both of them, right click cut, right click on my H1 tag and select paste child. Whoops, that was wrong directions. I'm sorry. We're going to cut and simply paste, not paste child. My apologies. These are not child tags to our parent H1. All right, they're in the right order now. Our figure looks pretty good. It's in the right spot. And now we have our next area. Now, this could probably be solved using the reading order tool. Let's break this down a little bit, okay? Here's what's happening. We have a paragraph down here that has a link. Now, full disclosure, this link has been deactivated. This was something that happened when I converted it from Word. When I originally created the presentation material. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to fix this whole paragraph. And I'm going to show you how to do it. So first, we have our P tag here, our parent P tag. If we notice, US Geological Survey is missing. It's not in there. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these guys out and I'm going to paste them at the end of the other sentence in the tags panel. So when I select the P tag, it's all in one area. Now, there's a style span tag here. This says, hey, these words are blue. That's what it's telling me by saying style span. That's not important to me. We need to update this to be a link. Links cannot be parent tags, so it can stay right where it is. Now, all I'm going to do is update this. So as it stands now, we have eruptions under water or ice produce. That's part 1 of the paragraph. Part 2 of the paragraph is the link and the link text. And then part 3 of the paragraph is the rest of the sentence. All right, let's update style span. I'm going to right click, select properties, and change this to link. The person that answers this correctly gets 1,000,000 bonus points. What is my link missing? Does anyone remember what our links are supposed to have? We have our link text, but we're missing something. A specific tag type. Does anyone recall? 1,000,000 points is a lot. It's because it's hard. All right, I'm taking the silence as no answer. We are missing what's called an object reference, the part that makes it clickable. Now, there's a couple ways we can add it. Let's first make sure we have an active hyperlink here. So this isn't a remediation thing. I just want to make sure I have a live link. I'm just going to put in Google for sake of demonstration. And voila, when I did that, it created my object reference. So brief recap, we have a parent P tag with child contents. The link is literally separated by a different tag that can be expanded or collapsed with our object reference that tells the computer and assistive technology, it says, hey, I'm clickable, click me, and then the rest of the sentence. So that's how you would fix a paragraph with a link in it. I know that was extremely lengthy, but that's how you have to do it because our reading order tool does not have link. There's nothing in here. You have to do that process manually in some cases. So let's keep going. I'm assuming this is making perfect sense. All right. Kimberly yelled at me. I got to say this right. Lava. All right. We're going to take our lava. And what is this? A heading 3? I believe this is a heading 3. We can use the reading order tool to mark it as a heading level 3. And I'm going to skip this link because we just spent a lengthy amount of time on it. We're going to jump right to the table. So let's see if we can fix this table. All right. This table is fixable. My concern is this is a complex topic, but I think it's valuable. Oh, Kimberly, I was just teasing. I thought you would appreciate that. All right, here's what we're gonna do. So the reading order tool, you can tag all of these headers, right? Let's make this a heading 2, and it's really valuable for some things. Now, this table though, we gotta fix it, and it's hard to explain, so bear with me here. We have to do some manual tag generation, okay? So I have a table tag, I have a single table row. I need to create a couple new tags. I'm gonna create some blank table rows. I'm doing this by clicking in the tags panel. You don't have to click the tag here, but if you if you click the tag first, it will place your new tag underneath it. So I'm right-clicking that tag, selecting new tag, either typing TR for table row, or you can use this drop-down menu to find table row and select OK. So we now have our 4 contents, and I'm going to try to explain the error. Essentially, I mean, it's pretty clear, right? All of the text is in a single container. This is useless for a table, but the fix is going to be a little tricky. So let's finish adding our structure to our table. As you can see here, this table row has a couple table headers. So I believe we need a table header and a table data cell for each one of these rows. So I'm going to quickly build these out. I'm going to simply right-click, do a new tag. I know I need a table header, so I'm simply typing TH. And I need 3 of them. I think I need 3 of them. And then I also need 3 data cells, and that's indicated by TD. Or you can use the drop-down menu to do table data cell and select OK. This is very complex here. So if you're feeling confused, you're right where I want you. Bear with me, okay? I think this is important. So the next thing I'm going to do, all I'm doing right now, I'm simply building the structure of my table. Since it can't seem to do it by itself for some reason, I'm forcing it. All right, so I have our table row now, and I have all these nice blank cells. I'm now going to use the reading order tool to chop up my table a little bit. So as it sits now, all of the content is in a single cell, and I don't want that. I'm deselecting some of this because if you have everything active, it's kind of hard to see, to be perfectly honest. So I'm just going to uncheck some of these. And here's the goal. I need to break apart each one of these cells. So I'm going to select lava type, and I'm going to select, let's say, text. Then I'm going to select description, and this will also be text. Then I'm going to select these words, pillow lava, text. Don't yell at me, Kimberly. But hoey hoey. Text, lava. Thank you, thank you. It's only taken me several years of working with the same document. Text, and then we're going to take these cells. Remember, you have to go kind of wide. Oh, see, I only got the bottom half of it. I need to go wide to make sure I get the full sentence. Text paragraph, smooth, billowy, text paragraph, rough, jagged, spine nose, text paragraph. All right, I'm going to close the reading order tool. Now, here's what we have. It put all of those nice text tags out of order, of course, but it separated them all. So I now have a table with no contents. It took them out of the cells, but that's what I wanted. I kind of want a blank canvas here. The only thing that it didn't find was that sentence. Bear with me 1 second. Oh, it looks like it just put it somewhere else. I'm going to cut that tag and move it with my other ones. All right, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to simply plug in our content. So I have all of these parent-child relationships. We have the P tags or the body text, and then the actual container. We need to move the containers into their new homes. All right, so the first one we're going to do is lava type. This is going to move into our first table header cell of our first table row of the only table, of the first table on this page. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can cut it, Control X, or right-click cut. Then you can select the cell that you want it to be the child of. I'm going to select TH, right click, paste child. Here's another method. Next up, we have lava. I actually don't want that. I want to do description next because I'm trying to build my rows in order. So I'm going to take description and I'm just going to drag it. I'm clicking with my left click, holding down and moving it. And it creates this little bar here underneath the TH. It's very small, very hard to see. I'm queuing it right now to go back and forth. So the little bar indicates a child placement. The large bar, I guess, indicates a parent. Let me just do it. So if I do the parent route, it simply places it underneath. It's a top level item. Whereas where I need it to be is indented under our header. And I know I'm spending an inordinate amount of time on this, but it's important. Let's take Pillow Lava and let's speed it up a little. I'm going to cut Pillow Lava. I'm going to paste it as a child tag under my row. We're going to look for the next sentence, elongate. Cut, that's going to be a child of this data cell. Pahoe Hoe, we're going to cut, paste as child in our third row. Smooth billowy, that is the line associated with Pahoe Hoe. I'm going to cut it, Control X on my keyboard, and I'm going to paste child on this data cell. And look at that, we're almost done. Next, we have lava. Let's drag this one just for sake of doing it different. I'm going to make sure it goes in the right spot, and we'll select and drag the contents of that row. And voila, we now have an accessible table. Easy peasy, right? We've got a table with 4 rows. I can walk the tags tree and see that the content is clearly defined. Pretty fun, huh? Now all these blank p tags, I'm going to delete. All right. So what we saw there, quick recap, the use of the reading order tool to identify some of this, both the links and the tables are some of the most complex stuff you're going to work on. But there's also the need to get in the tags panel, get your hands dirty and move some content around. Don't be afraid of this. All of these sample documents, I want you to get in there and see what you can do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to practice. So last time we had downloaded some sample files. I can share them in the chat as well. What we're going to work on, though, is O3 volcanoes, no tags. I'm downloading another copy of the file into the chat if you would like to download it and participate. And I would like for you, this slide actually needs to be updated. I would like for you to use the reading order tool to add tags. That's all we're going to do. Let me add that note in the chat. Use the reading order tool to add tags to your document. If you would like, I'll let you run it through the action wizard first if you want. I'm also going to leave that note in the chat. You can run the doc through the action wizard to start if you would like. And then finally, if you want a little bit of an easier document, if this is feeling really overwhelming for you, we're going to use the reading order tool on this file titled O1 sample file meeting minutes. It kind of has some headers. It's a little more simplistic. And we are going to take a full 15 minutes for this activity. I will be here on standby. I am gonna go take a quick bathroom break. In the chat, if you have questions or unmute yourself, ask away. See you soon and good luck. Is anyone having any trouble so far? It's been about 5 minutes. How is it going? Kimberly says, all sorts. I don't learn well this way. Well, if I can be of assistance, I'm happy to walk you through anything that you're stuck on, or anyone else for that matter. Are you stuck on something specific, Kimberly? Most of the way the training has been created is to give you access to tools. There's always many things that can go wrong with PDFs. And so it's important to have that large toolbox to be able to quickly identify what you can do. Okay. If this is feeling too complex, work on the sample file meeting minutes. And all we're trying to do is use the reading order tool to tag the words. Roberto says, still trying to figure out to label using the reading order tool. Yeah, it could be a little tricky sometimes. Today is heavy on practice. So I know I'm asking 100 times for questions, but I have more sample files for us to work on for an additional 15 minutes after this activity. So we're in it right now. All right, I'm going to start randomly calling on people to check in. Kimberly says, I'm not getting how to split out the combined items. Well, let me see. Sometimes it could be an option in the reading order area. Let me share my screen. So with the reading order tool open, it might not be the content is together, but it might be that you have display-like elements in a single block, which can sometimes merge all the content. So if I deselect that, it puts all of the tags independently, even if they're the same one. Now, I did show you the link and the tables. That's a complex thing, but I know this is being recorded, and I want to make sure you can have something to reference to fix those types of things as they come up. I believe this document had the caption tag in here where we needed to split up some of that content. To ungroup the content that's together, you simply take a piece that you want. So if you wanted geology to be separated, you would select it and then select heading 1. I've got the figure and the headings all combined in a box with the very first section at the top. Yep, so this is what you're going to do. you're going to have your reading order tool open. You're going to select Geology 2.3 volcanoes, and then you're going to select one of these buttons. If we select text, it will uncombine them. It will remove that object from the figure tag. And then you do the same thing for types of lava and magma. You select it, text paragraph, and it will remove it out of that area. Well, good. I hope that cleared up something. All right, let's get some participation from someone else. Don't make me call on you. Who wants to volunteer? I'll start calling on you. Let's see. I'm looking through the participant list now. Who wants to save their friends? All right, let's see. Let's see. Ruth Ann, you've put some comments in the comment box. How are things going? Is this making sense? Do you have any questions? All right. Still working on it? Okay. I'll quit talking. You guys keep working. Tables are very tricky. Yes, you are correct. That's why it's always better to start with a Word document. All right, take a few more minutes to work, and then we're going to walk through it again. Roberto, I couldn't agree more. In fact, in our first session, we had talked about several tags being irrelevant. Part is one of them. It's simply a tool to, or a tag to restructure some of the content. In fact, I like to pull all of my tags out of the parts because I just find it annoying, and it's an extra press on my keyboard. And when you multiply that out by hundreds of tags and tens of documents per day, it really adds up. The extra, you have to tap. But I agree. The parts are very annoying. Also, if you were trying to use the reading order tool on a table, that's very fun. Let me share my screen really quick. We're just going to do a table. This is a document that is untagged. I'm going to bring up my reading order tool, and I'm simply going to draw a box around the table and select table. And then we're going to look at the tags panel and see what we see. So it first of all added a section tag, which is kind of like a part tag. And it got the rows. That's pretty cool. Better than last time anyways. But it's missing the header. So let's try it again. I'm going to select the full table. That was my fault. And then table. And let's take a look again. There's another section tag. This time everything's blank in here. So we would need to delete that. But let me close this. It actually looks like it properly added in the tags. I'm shocked by that. I just did the same presentation like last week for another college. I did not get these results using the reading order tool on the table tag like that. So that's actually better than I thought it was going to be. Yours didn't do that? Did yours do like the original where it had all of the content in the same tag? Yeah. That's why I was like, what? Yeah, let me, I'm going to start it from the top. I'm going to close out the file, make sure I'm working with a completely fresh table. Sometimes it's hard to explain this, what's happening, right? So sometimes if you do one of the other tools first, you get better results. So let's try it. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to go to accessibility, reading order, and I'm just going to grab that whole table, use the mouse, select table. Oh, see, I done messed it up. Ruth Ann, is this what you saw? Because this is what I normally see. We'll have to look back at the recording to make sure I'm not crazy, but I swear I just did this and it came through perfect the first time. Let's just try it again. So sometimes you can just re-tag it again. And to your point, Roberto, look what's happening. I'm getting additional section tags. I wonder, let's see. I'm going to try to take not that header row and let's see if it does anything different this time. So, oh, was someone going to say something? I got some feedback on my mic. This is interesting. This might even change my presentation. If I select the rows under the header row first, it actually gets them perfectly with the table headers even. I'm a little dumbfounded right now. I've never had this result before. Imagining my happy space. It does have a duplicate table, and look at all these section tags. So it's a little wonky. I'm not going to lie. This does not, I couldn't explain what's happening because it doesn't make any sense. And I'm happy at least you guys can see this. Sometimes you get better results than others. Anyways, I don't want to get too far in the weeds here. I'm going to work on an easier document. So I'm pulling up the 01 sample file meeting minutes. And we're going to run through using the reading order tool briefly, and then you guys are going to practice on another document. So currently have no tags available. Let's start chopping this guy up. Information Security Advisory Committee meeting minutes. If that's not a heading one, I don't know what is. When I do the reading order tool, it appears in the tags panel. Okay. Next up, we have some words here, a little description. We're going to do text paragraph. Looks pretty good. Next up, we have attendees. We can do heading level 2. Now, this is like the long way. If I wanted to, it might make more sense to actually run this through the action wizard, but you don't have to use the action wizard. You can if you want. I'm simply taking each one of these areas. I'm going to do a paragraph at a time, so it's in the same parent tag. And we're just marking this content. If I could grab it properly, that would be great. I do this every day of my life, and I still have issues grabbing the text. We're going to take all of this content on the bottom, and I'm just going to give you a freebie here. We're going to mark this as an artifact. I don't want any of that junk on the bottom. It's just in my way. I'm going to keep going, grab a little bit more text. And yeah, you just kind of build out your document in that way. And that's one way that you could tag a document. Now, if we amplify the problem times 1,000 and we make this a 1,000-page document, I'm probably going to run it through the action wizard instead, because that's just going to take way too long to manually tag all of that. I'd rather just fix it based on what it gives me. So I'm really quickly running through the action wizard, going to my tags panel, expanding the menus out. And oh no, it only has what I was doing manually. I'm not going to save the file. I'm just going to reopen it and then run it through the action wizard. It's unfortunate that we have to do things this way, but sometimes it just makes more sense to start over. So I encourage you to save multiple copies of files, especially the important ones. Create a folder on your desktop for like working draft or something, so you don't mess with your base file. All right, so this was a clean copy that I ran through the action wizard. We at least now have all the tags in here. So I can walk my tags panel and see all of the elements appear. And then all we really have to do is adjust the headings because they're on H4. So we can do that. Now I'm going to show you another method. So sometimes the reading order tool takes too long, right? I can come over here, I can select this and then do heading 1, right? That's what I've been showing you all along. But I'm going to show you another method. So when you're in the tags tree, you can simply press F2 on any tag and type in there. As long as you don't mess up the structure of the tag, you can kind of fly through this. So I'm walking my tags panel, quickly getting to each heading, pressing F2 on the tag when it appears, backspacing on the 4, adding a 2 because all of these, well, they're probably not all heading 2s, but for sake of demonstration, I wanted to just show you how quickly I was able to do that with the keyboard instead of the reading order tool. So just another option. All right, I have another practice for you guys. Give me one moment here. So for those of you who downloaded the practice files last time, I'm also going to drop these in the chat just to make sure you have them. We have a file called 04 Hire Me Workshop and 05 Communication Syllabus. I would like for you guys to run this through the action wizard. You can choose one file or both if you're faster. Run them through the action wizard. Use the reading order tool to tag some of the content and just take a look at the tags panel. The whole point of all of this is for you to get comfortable using the tools. This is not a test. I don't care how far you get. It's important to me that we understand why we're doing this. So again, a solicitation for questions. I'm going to try not to talk for a few minutes to let you guys breathe, but I'm here, okay? We're going to take another 15 minutes to work on these two files. Pick one or both, and we'll hop back on. Okay. How is everyone doing? Judging by the lack of questions, I assume you all got perfect. Just kidding. Let's take a look at one of these documents. Let me share my screen one moment. All right, let's do the Hire Me workshop flyer. And the directions were to run this document through the action wizard. Let's first take a look at the tags panel. Got a whole lot of nothing in here. That's okay. We're going to select the action wizard button and then select make accessible and then start. We're going to go through the steps. I always like to make sure my title is nice and clean. Hire Me Workshop Flyer. I'm going to select OK. OCR. No forms. English. We have an issue with the link. That's okay. We're going to add our alt text. Coast College's logo. Next image, and I'm going to put background image here. And then we run the accessibility check. All right, just taking a peek at the chat, one moment. Perfect. We can touch on that one too, Roberto. All right, so all I wanted to do was just kind of look at this. So the accessibility checker finds no issues. That's kind of nice, but I don't want you to get stuck on it. Let's take a look at the tags panel. It's more important that our tags are looking good. I dislike part tags, so I'm going to cut all these tags out of the part tag and paste them directly under the figure tag, and then delete part. Now, this image on the left-hand side is decorative. It's currently marked as an image, and it can be activated. Even by marking decorative, though, it sometimes gives us issues. So we're going to mark it as an artifact instead. There's a couple ways we can do this. You can open the tag, right-click the container, and you can say change tag to artifact. And we're just going to select OK, and that will remove it sort of as an object on the page. Next up, we want to make sure the alt text stayed. Looks pretty good. Coast College's logo. We have an H1. We're not going to get too hung up on the details here. Let's verify that our link is okay. This is okay. The style span is extra. You don't have to remove it. It's sort of like you can take it out or not. It has no bearing on assistive technology. But otherwise, this link looks pretty good. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut the link out and paste it on the line above it so that this P tag contains both the text surrounding the link and the link itself. Now, this is a flyer, so this is okay that we have the full URL. Otherwise, I wouldn't do that. And also, these are supposed to be list items. I don't have too much time, but I'm going to briefly explain how to fix this. First, we need a new list parent tag. Now, we also need a list item tag for every element. So I'm right-clicking in the tags panel, selecting new tag, and typing LI for list item. And I'm doing this for each list item there will be. So we got 5 of them. Next, what I'm going to do, every list item has to have an L body. So I'm going to select all of these P tags, right-click, properties, and I'm going to change them to a list item body. Now from here, I'm going to move each L body into its parent LI tag. And then I'm going to take each LI tag. I'm holding my control key on the keyboard to select multiple tags at once. And I will make all of these child LI tags underneath their parent tag. So we now have a list item tag with all 5 list items. And this is a mostly accessible document. If we run the accessibility checker, you can see we have no issues. 05 is going to be similar. We might have to go over that one in the next workshop because I have a little bit more to cover. So the accessibility checker can be ran independently. I like to use it as a last resort to verify our work. And as we can see in this PDF that we did, when we run the accessibility checker, we only get these 2 issues. Now, logical reading order and color contrast will forever say needs manual check. If I pass them, as soon as I reopen the document, they will be there again. So don't stress about it. It's just the computer's way of telling you that, you need to look at it manually. So that's sort of what the accessibility checker can help with. To run it independently, you can simply select the accessibility button and then choose full check. And that will bring up the dialog window where you can start checking all of the categories within your PDF. Now, what I wanted you to do was run the accessibility checker on a different document, but let's take a look at number 5. And I'm just thinking for a moment. Let's stick to the presentation because I don't want to stray too far. We're going to open up number 10, inaccessible, and we're going to run the accessibility checker. So on the accessibility button, we select accessibility check, ensure everything is tagged, every thing is checked, and then we select start checking. Now, the whole point of this accessibility checker tool, this is another path. This is another way to fix issues. When I fix everything in here, it does not mean that our document is compliant. But for sake of this activity, I want you to just fix elements from the accessibility checker. So this is sort of an alternate route to fixing things. Now, our tags panel might still be out of whack. Okay, you still need to verify that. But this activity is specifically geared towards fixing things in the accessibility checker. You can fix things by right-clicking them, like the title, for example. We can add a title in here, inaccessible doc, and select OK. You can expand the window where it says figures alt text failed. You can right-click and fix, and it's going to walk you through each one of these. And I'd like for you to fix the alt text on those. Finally, we have a table that doesn't have headers. This is a little tricky to fix in our short amount of time. But essentially, our tables do not have header tags. In fact, we have 2 table tags here. We would need to put all of these rows. I'm going to simply cut them and paste them as rows into our other table so that they're all in a single table tag. This will inherently fix some of the content. In fact, you can select all of these TD rows, all of these TD cells, right-click on properties and change them to table headers. And then let's run the accessibility checker once more. And let's see if it fixed any of our header elements. It did. So that table is no longer there. We just have that issue over here. So what I'd like for you all to do is to take a moment and run the accessibility checker on this document I am dropping in the chat, or you could even do it on the document you're working on. This is another tool in the toolbox. There's some overlap with the things we've learned about, but what I want for you to get out of this specific activity is simply using the accessibility checker. So I'm running out of time, but let's take a few minutes here to run the accessibility checker on that document and fix the errors from that menu exactly. One of the challenging elements of PDF accessibility is there's multiple ways to fix the same problem. You have the accessibility checker. You can do the action wizard. You can rename the tags using the keyboard. But ultimately, for 508 compliance, you need to have a document that is tagged. So however you get that done, that's 90% of the work. With that said, the final 5 minutes are open to whatever you guys want to talk about. Bridget said, I like the accessibility checker. It appears to be less complicated and tedious. In a way, yes, I would like to just echo the fact you cannot use only the accessibility checker. So I realized in this last activity, I only had you do that, but I'm trying to pinpoint various tools for you to use. You will have to verify the tags in the tags panel also. A document that passes the accessibility checker does not necessarily pass 508 compliance. I just wanted to say that, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And it's a good tool. I run it when I feel like I've done everything else, and then it helps me visually with the stuff that maybe I missed, like list elements, or maybe I forgot a table header, and I'll go back to that table and add it in the tags panel, things like that.
Shawn, when can we use auto tag document?
That's a good question. So that is something we will go over right at the top of session 3. So our next session, we will talk about the auto tagging, and I'll talk to you all about it. Of course, you are welcome. Bridget said, I'm still having a problem with navigating through the tags. It's something I must figure out myself. Yeah, it just comes with the territory. It's one of those, don't be afraid. I use my arrow keys. So I use these, my index finger and the middle finger on my right hand, and I simply navigate up and down and left to right very frequently. That's just something I personally do. You can also use your mouse to sort of scroll in the tags panel and click to expand the menus. That might be easier for you too. I promise, I've been doing this a long time. It's still challenging sometimes. That feeling you have in the back of your mind of like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to do this? You can do it, I promise you. It just takes some time and effort. All right, final 2 minutes. Any last words? If not, Susie or Megan, do you have any announcements for the end here?
Nothing for today.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope this was beneficial. I know this is a complicated topic. You're very welcome. Practice, practice, practice. Yeah. And I think I'll see you all next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. Same time, same place. Thank you.